Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is my final vlog for both the semester and the year. So today I'm just going to be kind of talking about some overarching things that I've learned throughout the semester. As far as what I think I'll take away from this and what I learned, I don't know, I guess I've just seen a lot of things work and a lot of things not work. Stuff that I'll kind of remember as I go on. That's one big thing. Don't really want to get into specifics there because there are just so many. So many little things that you see and you remember. It's been very interesting as far as learning about the culture of the school, and very interesting just seeing how all that stuff runs, especially the culture of a school during a crisis or an unusual situation. Because I was really put into a very unusual situation this year with our school gym collapsing and everything that went along with that. So that was very interesting just to see how everybody reacted to that and how that changed things. And as far as other things I've kind of learned, throughout the course of the semester, I kind of found it different from my previous placement, because I found that it was a lot harder to kind of connect with kids than with my previous placement. I think I went to this one having done so well in the last placement, just expecting that would just kind of happen with time and it wouldn't be something I had to worry about that much. I found that wasn't really the case here. I found that it was something I really need to kind of work through to make happen, something that I should have thought more about and been focused more about at the beginning of the semester on making that happen. So that was interesting, that was different. Also, discovered a lot more of the administrative aspects of the job, dealing with discipline stuff, and especially with grades, and just seeing a lot of the difficulties you can have there. I don't know that I came up with any real answers about any of that stuff. It's just something that I was exposed to as being a difficult aspect of the job I hadn't thought a whole ton about before. I know I've said before, teachers generally don't like dealing with grades. I got to see more why this semester. Just so many ambiguous sort of, if I'm saying that right, situations I've had with both grading and discipline and so many different things throughout the semester, and I'm not a person who likes dealing with those sort of situations that much. Kind of stresses me out, but I've been through a lot of those, so, looking at kind of what I've learned and how this is going to make me a better teacher, I look at teaching and what it requires, and I see it as being more of a skill than a knowledge. It's not something you can read a book and memorize some ideas and then be able to do. I mean, I've read some helpful books, and I've gotten a lot of helpful ideas, looking at practical strategies, also looking at, a lot of ed psych stuff and how students learn, and that certainly will help me. But I think when it comes to actually running a classroom and teaching, it's much more of a skill to either have or practice and improve upon than I think it is necessarily a knowledge thing. It seems like it's more of a skill, more of a deep understanding sort of thing than a knowledge thing. So having said that, how I think I've grown and have learned is just having practice and going through a bunch of situations, and honestly, just to a certain degree, just kind of surviving. I equate this to my situation where I worked. I work for a sound and lighting unit out of my school of tech. And I just think back to my experiences there. I think they've been very kind of similar in a way to my experiences here with this program. I would just have days where I worked where it's like nothing would go right. I didn't feel sometimes like it was fair what I was expected to do. I definitely had times when I didn't feel like I was able. But I just kept chugging along. There were a lot of things that I screwed up, and a lot of things that I did well. And I tried to learn from the things that I screwed up, but yet at the same time everything was always a different day. You never know what's going to happen. And just having those difficult days, just kind of think it's similar to teaching. I had so many times I felt like I did this wrong, what am I doing here? But I began to find with my job that you go through the day, and you'd have all this stuff happen. You'd be in the middle of a shift, and you think, I'll just leave here right now. I just isn't for me. Then you get to the end of the day, and you'd see that regardless of what you did right and what you did wrong, you'd realize, okay, I did an alright thing. I got through it, and even though you'd had maybe what seemed like a terrible day and you felt miserable all day, you would leave with some kind of sense of accomplishment that, okay, I did something here. I wasn't perfect, but I got the job done. And you just have days, weeks like that would just go on and on. You'd have these days, and things would seem awful again. Then you'd always leave with that sense of really having done something. And then over time, that just kind of transferred to, in the middle of a show, you'd stop thinking, well, I screwed this up. How am I going to get through all this? You just start to look back and you see, well, I got through this and this and this before, so I'm probably going to get through this again. You'd start maybe applying some of the knowledge you gained from previous times, but also just having a sense of, I don't know if it's confidence or just calmness that, okay, I did it before, I can do it again. I definitely think that my teaching experience has been that same way. I'd have days where I think, I've lost these kids, I can't do this. Then I go back and I just keep chugging and it'd be alright, and I just keep going, and it got on and on. Towards the end of the semester I kind of had that calmness that, okay, maybe I didn't do something right, but I can go back and learn from it, and I can just keep on going and it's going to be alright. And that's kind of, I think I got that same sort of calmness that just comes from doing something for a while, and just in a way, just kind of being able to take eventually a bigger picture, having done something for a while and seeing that, okay, there have been some struggles, but I've gone through it, and it's okay, and it's, in a way, not something to worry yourself to death about. So that whole process may not mean anything to you, but really resonates with me. I think I felt that way about work, and about school as well, so that there were a lot of times in the semester where I thought, this isn't for me, but now I'm sitting here and looking forward to trying to teach in the future. Now, I don't know, it'll be totally different, I'm sure, when I have my own classroom. Who knows where I'm going to be at, each school is going to be different, but I am, at this point, looking forward to it, rather than worrying too much about it, because I just know that I've been through this much, and I can get through some more. And that's kind of what I'm talking to a couple different different teachers at the school. It's kind of what they said. Well, the more stuff you have to deal with in your student teaching, the better, because it's always you're going to have to deal with that first time sometime. And after you've dealt with it the first time, like students just saying stuff to you, stuff like that. After you deal with it the first time, then it gets better, and you just kind of have to deal with that the first time. So I've just kind of taken that to heart, and I don't know, I just think the whole process has been interesting. Going back and looking at myself in the middle of the semester and thinking about how anxious I was then, just looking at myself now and how so much has changed, and just thinking, especially about, I don't know, just my connection to the students and everything. I remember there were a lot of times in the semester where I thought, I can't wait for this to be over. Oh, I'm so glad I had that 3-day weekend this week and all this, and not feeling like I've made any kind of connection with students, and just not, being almost angry at them at times now. When I left each class for the last day, just looking back and thinking, I may never see a lot of these kids again, and it, still makes me sad. So, yeah, I'm running up to close to the time limit where YouTube is going to cut me off from having a video over 10 minutes, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Anyway, it's been an interesting journey. I think I have in some ways learned a lot and grown a lot, and I just look forward to what the future has for me. And for I guess it's pretty much the last time. Have a good day.